How are you doing?
I am a bit disappointed
Really?
because every time we think that we have a team that can stand up to Team Tribe, it's just like no, it's just it's not happening. And we have yet to see a team take a game off them, not a series, a game.
Yeah, I think,
And
to be honest, I'm a little delighted by that, though. Like, they are such a threat right now, you know? Like, this is the
yeah,
Vainglory super team. They should be this difficult to take down. Tribe Gaming, known for dominating mobile esports, and I really can't wait to see, what it takes. If we're establishing them as the final boss, the fact that they're looking this dominant is really, really fun. There is still one more chance for the Goons to extend this series, this tournament, and they made some roster changes. Gume subbed out, Lebmont subbed in. Here is the draft for game number 3, as the Goons ban out the Brawl instead of the Ezreal, the Darius, and the Wukong.
yeah. The interesting thing about subbing in Lemont here, as we've established that he is not the same person as MTS, is that
Important to
he
establish.
subbed in for he subbed in for MTS in the Baron lane yesterday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now he's subbing in for the ADC. So we might have a shuffling, but typically MTS has played the solo lane in all the games he's played so far. So I think this is just going to be a straight up substitution. I think they're just going to throw Lebont into the dual lane and see if he can do a better job than Gume, who has seemed to be a bit of a weak link here. Other than that, though, you were talking about how Team Tribe is, proved to be a great final boss, and I'm not arguing that they haven't, but I think that Goons have shot themselves in the foot quite a few times here in the series so far. So I'd rather see, if we do see a 3, I would rather see Goons put up a valiant, and they are putting a valiant effort. I want to see them not shoot themselves in the foot while going down. If that makes any sense, right? It's like play like a 9 out of 10 game, and then you just lose to the 10 out of 10 at Team Tribe. I'm perfectly fine with that. It's just that when Team Goon doesn't play up to what I think is their potential, then it's a bit disappointing.
Father Daniel is not angry. He's just disappointed. Ziggs will come out as the first pick for a Tribe, scoffing their noses up at Akali, Kai'Sa, all those other power picks. Lee Sin was banned out, sorry. But really turning their noses up at a lot of characters that are considered power picks, valuing Ziggs very highly. And I do agree with that, because Ziggs' turret shredding abilities have been essential to Tribe Gaming's quick game ends. The Goons like to drag things out a little bit longer, and they'll have an Akali to do it with this game, as well as a Malphite in the top side.
Yeah, and picking something like Ziggs kind of forces the Malphite pick as well, because when you have that Malphite Ziggs combo, which is not really a combo that you think of very often when you think of like the wombo combos in the game, but it's just so devastating when you get a knockup from Malphite and all the damage coming in from Ziggs here. So you're kind of forcing Goons' hand early in the draft to kind of use a pick on that Malphite, and that just makes it so that you have so many more options available to you. It also limits the options for your opponent because it's a wait in order to make their later picks. So this is a very obviously strong here from Tribe. Excuse me, getting to get that Ziggs pick in here first.
I think we need to pay attention to the bot lane, especially because this Kai'Sa still hasn't been picked up. She's considered very powerful right now, but Tribe are more interested in getting this support pick, understandably, with Brawl banned out. Alistair is far and away the best support currently available, and will be locked in quite quickly.
Speaking of ADCs, Ezreal hasn't been picked either, and he was first banned last game by Goons, and just kind of another situation where Goons has been very reactive, and you don't want to see that from a team trying to contest the top team, right? Is when they're reactive. They lost to Braum and Darius last game, so they banned those two. They lost to Ezreal the game before, so they banned Ezreal. It seems like this ever-rotating cycle of bans, and Tribe's like, we'll pick whoever, dude. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I think one of the problems with that last draft was they were banning the Ezreal to get rid of the Braum Ezreal lane. And what we learned was it was actually Max Green's Braum that they were really scared of. And once that Braum,
yeah,
like you saw the game-saving play at the end, we just set it up in the draft that the Braum could block out most of the ultimates they had brought to bear. And then we see that game-saving Brawl play where he does exactly that. And you're like, oh, maybe we shouldn't let Max Green get good characters. Which, unfortunately, they have done again, because he will again, Max Green will have the Brawl here. This Gragas presumably going top lane, but we don't know. Ezreal comes out for Team Goons.
Yeah, and we had some angry chatters as well during that game. They're like, "Why did they pick Seraphine into a Brawl? Don't they know?" And you know what they say, TJ. Chat always knows best because the Brawl really owned that too early on.
Well, I mean, as we called it out during the draft, right? It is a weakness of what Goons drafted during the last game, but it is by no means something that couldn't have been overcome with good team fighting, right?
Yeah. That's why I mean. Normally when I see a Seraphine, I initially think support. I don't think mid lane, right? But for that game, I was thinking mid lane because it's like, why would you pick a Malphite? Wouldn't you want to have like the double beefy front line? And also, the dual lane into the Braum didn't seem so good for me.
Well,
so,
I had a vision, right? I had a vision during that last draft of 80s on Darius just stepping out from the ruins of a team fight and Noxie and guillotining like 3 low HP people, and that happened like twice. So. Lesson learned on both counts. Darius was also on the ban list. 80s will be playing this Camille. We do get that Kai'Sa Alistair lane I was talking about. And that means Gragas must be in the jungle here. Versus a Vi.
Yeah. I don't know. The Vi didn't obviously work out too great last game, but that was because he's got completely shut down by the Lee Sin early on. Lee Sin obviously been banned this game out. So prioritizing the Gragas, I think it's perfectly fine. We've seen 0-8 do pretty well on Gragas in the past. I've never really been a Vi fan. I know, like, theoretically, like, in theory, she's such a great jungler, but, like, it never actually comes to fruition in practice. Unfortunately.
I think Vi is very, very good as a, like, secondary entry. Like, she is a really, really good teamfight character. Like, I think I prefer her over Lee Sin in many cases, because Lee Sin is just so useless in the late game. Whereas Vi still has, like, a ton of lockdown.
I've come around a lot in Lee Sin. I used to think, why would you ban him? But seeing how he can dominate the early game, and the way that these games snowball so quickly, I for sure, I would definitely prefer Lee Sin. Janna, okay.
Wow! So, we do get the Enchanter. I remember talking up the ability of Rest on an Enchanter before he played a Seraphine game, and he did hit some sick combos that Seraphine game, but it wasn't enough. Now Rest turns the tables, picks up the Janna. This is going to be a fairly lightweight composition for Goons. Kind of their only tank is here on the Malphite, and there's a decent amount of assassination into them. They need to keep this Kai'Sa Camille away from their backline, and that is going to determine the game.
TJ, I kind of have an issue, and it's the same issue obviously as last game, where Malphite, when he's your only frontliner, it's almost better to have him in a support role in that situation, because you're not... If he's only going to be in the team fight after like 6 minutes or so, then that means your team fight composition is kind of messed up, right? You need to have multiple situations in which your team fight can hold up, and by that I mean whatever members are in the fight, right? If you substitute one guy out, then you're still going to be okay in the team fight. And the fact that Malphite is going to be the least likely member to be in a team fight early on, and he's going to be that valuable to them, otherwise they're just walking with a bunch of flimsy characters, it's just, you're walking into trouble in that situation. And I don't know. I'm
going to play devil's advocate, not because I don't disagree, but you do have to say the same about the Camille. 80s is going to be up in the top lane during early, so there's not going to be a whole lot of assassination potential without both top laners being present. And secondly, you do have to count on MTS, right? MTS is that good.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He's not going to be in the fight, so that's the issue that I have, right? Like, it's going to take him a few minutes to be even part of that fight, so I just feel like the early Drakes are just going to go straight over to Tribe, and you're already kind of giving that early advantage, which is my issue.
I'd like to give you an update. Yikes is playing the Ezreal, Lebmont taking the Vi.
Okay, so apparently Ledmont not comfortable playing in the dual lane. Obviously, we've seen Yikes switch over. I am pleased that Yikes is in the dual lane and we don't have a Jhin, so that is a good thing. So yeah, it's gonna make me feel a bit better about that situation. But yeah, Ledmont's having to be in the jungle. Obviously, you know, there's only so many roles that a certain player can play, and
Yeah.
obviously Ledmont comfortable in the solo lane and in the jungle, and Yikes comfortable in the jungle and in the dual lane in situation.
That puts us here, though. Game 3 on the line. As Tribe try to close things out, Goons, I think, would like to make a dent.
Oh, Camille jungle.
Oh my lord, you're right. This was something Matt warned us
Yeah,
about.
Matt said.
The
Yeah, he's like-
Europeans have been playing this.
The Europeans. Yeah, he was saying like, D2, how often have we seen Camille in the jungle in North America? And my answer was 0. 0 Camille in jungle until now. Until now, we're bringing it out.
Tribe.
Honestly,
maybe.
I don't really have a whole lot of you know, opinions either way about this one. I think you could have either way just kind of flipped the Gragas and Camille here, and it would have been fine. But yeah, in my opinion, this is fine. I don't really. It's fine. It's fine.
My note would be, Tribe may be feeling like they can experiment a little bit in game number 3.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, in the finals, just you know, we're up 2-0. No one can beat us. Let's just see if we can pull out a little Camille. We've seen it on the European side.
It's a really good team to play against, to you know, try strats against. This series has been close enough that if the Camille doesn't work, they'll get cold on it.
Yeah, for sure. If you go against someone, if you do like a random scrim against a team that's like maybe not even trying, it's like, does that data even count really? So yeah, bringing it out, there's definitely merit to bringing it out against a team that will test their limits if it comes down to it.
Starting in trouble versus Hoon in the early exchanges. This Camille jungle going for an invade. 0-8 starting things off around the enemy Krugs. Which is just as good because MTS is chipping away at AT's HP.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what they wanted, right? It's just like, you can always throw out the first ability from the Malphite. And, what, sorry?
Ledmont, where are my Krugs? I require small rocks. Old school, though. In trouble, we'll find the turn. Cathian Rain just burns rest down to equivalent HP. This has been a scrappy bottom line.
Yeah, I was going to say that Goons were actually doing a pretty good job. They had Old School down pretty early here. Oh, hello. That could have caught him off guard if they were right under the turret. Starting just being a little bit cheeky there. But yeah, just turning it around. Tribe, again, they're just so resilient, right? They're down in this dual lane, and then, you know, Old School just turns around, lands a sick first ability, and it's like, we're back in this. And now we're actually ahead in the lane.
Yeah, you can see as well them looking at the tools they have on the board. Hoon backed there and starting was like, I don't need to back. Why don't I just see how I can influence the map? Step down the river. Take advantage of the absence of Hoon.
Yeah, and we have a little bit of time before the Drake comes up, so you know, exactly 30 seconds there as you see the timer ticking down. So starting has a bit of time to go back and set up for that fight if need be. And this is what I was talking about earlier. I think that Tribe have the advantage in this situation just because they have Alistair to zone out, whereas Goons have to just walk in with their, just naked with their fragile members.
Here we go. Easy take there of the Scuttler. Will give vision
That's
for
big,
the Goons. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it so much. Yeah, they can't take this without the other team knowing. And the fact that 80's rotated over means that Malphite can rotate over too.
Yeah, they know. What do you do? True shot finds vision. Hoon in, denied entry. Easy Drake take for Tribe. Will they be able to survive the fight though? Ooh, early answer, no. Kill found onto Old School. 1 over for the Drake as the Goons get scrappy early.
Yeah, very nicely done by the Goons there, just to get that kill to kind of somewhat even things out. Obviously, giving away the Drake is not great. They probably should have been there a little bit faster, as Tribe noticed that and was burning down as quickly as possible. Once the Drake was taken, though, Starting just immediately booked it out of there. Just uses his second ability to just jump out of the Dragon Cove there, and I think the overall thought process was we're just going to run away after you take this Drake, but unfortunately not everyone was able to get out of there alive, and Old School pays for it with his life.
Yeah, 1 kill found, and that is an important one, right? That's your AD carrying out of the fighter pretty early.
Yeah, he does have the most. He still does have the most gold on their team, though, so not really a whole lot to do here. So yeah, they take it pretty easily, and then you see Starting just jumps out of there, which means you have 3 people in that little cave there. And it meant that, you know, Old School really is the only person who doesn't have an escape out of there other than using their flash. So, he was the sacrificial lamb, but everyone kind of walks away with more or less what they set to do.
0-8 will drop the Hextech ultimatum onto Labmon, trying to solo out the kill. 0-8 survives, dashing away. Hoon chases him down through the fight. Hoon, there's no way you get away with this. Smoke Veil buys them space. MTS in, true shot, wide. Hoon survives.
Oh wait, the true shot's actually on their own team. Wait a second.
It was wide though.
Yeah, it was way wide of hitting Tribe for sure. I was like, wait a second, that's actually the same team. Oh my goodness, Hoon is such a beaster. I mean, we've been talking about Tribe and how good they are, and you know, typically Starting just walks over his counterpart in the mid lane here, but you know, Hoon is absolutely no joke. He's had the highest score on the team for a while now, or like most of the games now. What are you doing, 0-8? Why are you so mean?
Rift Herald did get taken. As the turret falls, they'll need to at least answer that.
Yeah, you take the Rift Herald in order to get turrets, right? So.
What arcane shit there for Yikes. That would have been certain death.
Yeah, Eddie's not afraid to use his ultimate there just to pick up a kill, especially on Yikes, who, you know, 80s was kind of a bully to Yikes, if we're going to be real here, as far as the AOV situation was concerned. Yikes always on like the 3rd-ish place team, whereas 80s was always at least in the top 2. So just a big brother energy right there.
Yeah, forcing him to step back. Rest may be called out here. I think he is. Hextech ultimatum will be spent. The Monsoon denies the play, though. Rest heals right back up. Lemon to the front lines. Mega Inferno Bomb doesn't find the fight. Hoon dives through. Oh, perfect execution. An easy kill. Max Green takes the front lines, though. It's a big pulverize, and that slows things down. Yikes is very low over the wall. And Old School, with a killer instinct, will even things back up. A 1-for-1 trade. And that will be your early skirmish outside the Drake.
What a super interesting fight there. It started off with a ridiculous ult coming out from the Starting, hitting 4 members, and some of them in the inner circle as well, taking that extra damage there. And then Hoon just absolutely pops off, as we've known Hoon to do throughout this tournament. Gets all the damage in, but then Max Green somehow just like turning up the damage on Alistair. I didn't realize he does this much damage 8 minutes into the game. Knocks up 3 and gets them all within, like, you know, slivers of health.
Here's that Rift Herald.
What's turned the fight in the end.
80's in trouble, holding underneath his turret. Will turn the tables onto Labmont, but MTS is tanking the turret damage. And so the turret falls.
Stop doing that!
That true shot sketched you out.
It's the wrong team. It's the wrong team, Max. Why are you doing this to me? I think he's just trolling me on purpose. I think he's just trolling the casters. Like, am I gonna make a mistake?
Oh my lord. Steal won't happen. That's the 2nd Drake over the Tribe.
Yeah, and those things can add up here. Just again, Tribe, even when they're losing some of these team fights and skirmishes here and there, even losing, you know, that turret up top, they know they're just really quick on those rotations and able to pick up that Drake immediately.
Rest down. Hoon should be fine. 1 kill over unanswered. We'll see what Hoon does about it. 0-8 will successfully recall the kunai. Little too late. Instead, the engage goes past him onto Old School. They navigate past Max Green, and a perfect execution for Hoon will find the kill onto the opposing carry. Support for carry? You take that trade any day of the week.
I mean, it ends up being a trade in the end. I don't think they had a whole lot to do with each other. But I just want to point out how ridiculous Hoon is on Isakali. And I've been waiting for him to pop off. Really wanted to happen last game with the Katarina, but he's finally got to flex his muscles here. And that, I mean, when you are able to land that ult at the end like that, it's just ridiculous damage, especially when you have he just picked up the item that gives you more damage when they're at low health. So, you know, it's going to be really scary. You can actually go get someone from like 60% health to 0 with one swipe there. And you got to be really afraid of Hoon if you're on Tribe now.
Yeah, here is the Baron on the board. You also have Vision being set up for this third Drake, the final Drake. We've got to pay attention to that as well.
Still a gold lead here for Tribe, though. That's kind of insane if you think about it. I was thinking that Hoon was going to be far and away the highest gold, but he's actually losing to both the Kaisa and the Ziggs. Just goes to show how well Tribe have been rotating in this game so far.
I just wanted to give you a closer look at
Hoon
this.
Hoon is like, yeah, I'd rather be on old school here. And then my screen's like, where are you guys going? Hello? that's not fair. And then, boom. Knocks him out through the shield. Watch, sorry, maybe not through the shield. Anyway, he's dead.
Very dead, I think, is the safe call. So, the trading has gone positively for Goons for once, but they're not winning on the map. Down a turret, down 2 Drakes, 1,000, 2,000 gold, depending on the moment.
Yeah. There's... I don't know how to save it. Oh, hello. Hold that thought.
AC's in trouble. Hoon also in trouble. True shot arcs through. AC's very low. Old school back into the smoke veil. Into stasis. Redemption ticking. Dives back in. Can't survive. Redemption's a moment too late. MTS with the unstoppable force build up. The backline been starting. Does have enough HP to survive. 0 in the front lines. MTS saved by the monsoon. Max Green backs away. Tribe need to run because the punishment is coming from Goons. They're able to trade out Max Green for Hoon. That's not what they want. They do have more health on the map. Maybe that turns into an objective, but the only one available is Baron.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Toon went down there for Goons, but he was able to stall out long enough for the rest of the team to come in and kind of bait the members of Tribe out of position. I think that was really unfortunate for Hoon because he went in stasis. I think he was spamming the kunai, or he was spamming it as hard as possible, and I think that made him accidentally jump back in, TJ. I do not think he wanted to jump back in there.
I thought he was worried he wasn't
so
in the redemption. I thought it was a play to try and stay in the redemption.
Oh, no, I don't think so. I think he was just spamming it to get out of there, and he's like, oh no, I went back in! And immediately died. Oh boy, that's my theory anyway. Obviously, he's the only one who knows that, but that's just unfortunate.
Yeah, real unfortunate as he goes down, and now here comes the Infernal Drake. They need to win it. Oh, what an unstoppable force to start the fight. Starting in trouble in this smoke veil. Hoon dives forward. Starting is dead. Megan Frumub gets up first news. MTS will go down in trade. Starting for MTS. Old school into stasis. Lepmont to chase. Can't confirm the kill. Fight win for Goons, though, as they have more HP at the end of the day.
Oh, wait. Are they going to actually contest this, Tribe?
Maybe. AT's over the wall. 0-8 does have a smite. Won't be able to steal away the Drake. The third and final one of the game will go to Goons. We're into Elder territory now. 15 minutes nearly on the clock as this game's going.
I'm going to call him the Great Equalizer, and I'm talking about Hoon here, who has been absolutely on fire in this game. The entire rest of the team fight went against Goons there. They were getting beat up on the back line, but Hoon just getting so much done on the opposing back line, taking out one, forcing Old School to go into stasis and then flash away just by his lonesome. Hoon is carrying Goons on his back right now.
Yeah, it pays huge dividends for the team. And that's been the story since moment one. They finally unleashed the Star Arena Valor midliner. Lepmont over the wall for this fight. Deep backline dive. Again, full focus onto the carries. Old School kites, though. MTS locked down by the Hextech ultimatum. Barely saved by the Monsoon. Old School's dead. Hoon with a backline dive. Finds gold yet again. And scares away starting. But Starting has the revenge, coupling with 80s. They blow up the mid lane dive. The Akali's gone. They find Lemont as well. There is no backline threat anymore. Tribe stabilize with very low HPs in the fight and win out 2-1.
Yeah, MTS consistently getting good engages there, and Hoon finds his way to the backline once more. He has to contend with 3 members while he's there, but still gets the snipe onto Old School. Nearly makes it out with his life, but AG says not so fast, tosses out the ultimate and finishes him off. And things are just about resetting at the moment. This is turning into a banger.
Turning into? We've been going since moment 1, Daniel. We haven't stopped.
Hey. The banger meter, the banger level is just continuing to rise, okay?
Gold lead still in the hands of Tribe Gaming. And that becomes...
I thought you were going to continue to suck.
I took a drink of tea instead. It's a bold new strategy I'm taking. Gold lead still in the hands of Tribe Gaming, and that becomes more and more important as we go lane. Because you do have that Kai'Sa. You do have that Ziggs, they're real scary.
Obviously, this is pretty standard for Akali, but just mention that Hoon is going full damage here, about to pick up that Rabadons pretty soon.
Yep, that'll be a pretty important power spike. As though Hoon needed a power spike.
Well, you know, you take all the help you can get when you're going against Tribe, even though Hoon has been pretty dominant.
Rabadons has been completed for 80s, if you're wondering. Ooh! MTS in, starting to focus, eats a true shot as well, and Hoon's waiting. Leaps into the backlines, explosive cast denies them entry, 0-8 over the wall. It is a full focus on Hoon, and Hoon drops into stasis. They do not go down. Finally cleaned up by 80s. In the meantime, the dive gets both starting at Old School though. Rest resets the fight with a very good Monsoon. Will be focused out by Max Green though, and Yikes simply doesn't have the damage. A triple kill for 80s. Yikes into stasis, will flash away. Safe for now, but cleaned up as 80s goes huge. A quadra kill to save the fight for Tribe.
Just the consistent damage coming out from 80s. Your first ability is like never on cooldown when you get to this stage of the game. He's even taking a power shot to make sure it happens. Wait, they can actually potentially make this happen. Well, they're definitely going to get this inhibitor turret. Yeah, it's 10. We're counting it down. 9, 8, 7.
I think they have it.
Can it actually do
Empower damage.
Oh my goodness.
0-8 dies. Reset. MTS in with the unstoppable force has CC. It's not enough. Tribe Gaming close out the grand finals. 3-0. No questions asked. None taken. They are the best team in North America.
What recognition! The last thing on my mind there as they just scraped out the team fight in the end was they can end.